You know one thing about His Majesty the King, it is of course his love of wonderful architecture, particularly Edwardian and Victorian. As he's spoken out many times literally over the years when it was very unfashionable to do so, he felt that London's landscape was being blighted by all of these, as he called them, carbuncles of monstrosities. He didn't like them at all, and I have to agree. Wherever you look now, it's almost a soulless place, just being replaced by these very cheap buildings, glass buildings, that look exactly the same wherever you are in any part of the world. What's the attraction if you don't see something different? As you can see from where I'm standing now, we have very sort of Victorian Georgian townhouses that still remain. This is why people come to London, to look at wonderful architecture and to look at, of course, things that have been there in a part of an historical vein. What's fascinating now is, though, this particular lady, the current Deputy British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Angela Rayner, well, she's basically been saying how chummy and friendly she is with His Majesty the King. You know, apparently they met on a number of occasions, and apparently, according to her, that he likes her because she's his common friend. Her words, I might add. Seemingly, though, this friendship could be now stretched to the max, all thanks to Angela's latest decision. As ever, let me explain. Good to see you today. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join me. I hope you're keeping well. I'm glad, by the way, you enjoyed the recent video about haunted London and the public houses and stuff like that. If you haven't checked it out, I think you will enjoy it. It's fascinating to learn new stuff. It's always fascinating to see exactly how the royals had a hand in these things, you know. And I never knew that the fact that, obviously, when you think about it, so many people of that period would have been illiterate, didn't know how to read and write, so it was all about signs and pictures. It's incredible, though, isn't it? But everybody always finds a way around something, don't they? That's the thing. I mean, that's what I find fascinating. There's always a way around it in the end. Somebody comes up with it, don't they? Now, let's get back to your story of the day, because this, as you may see, is the beautiful Oxford Street, right? Currently adorned with Christmas lights, but no mention of Christmas. That's because, of course, our Mayor, Sadiq Khan, only wants to see Happy Ramadan up there. Doesn't want to see Merry Christmas or indeed Happy Christmas. That's what we're living under right now. I told you about that recently. What's fascinating, though, is this particular building, built, of course, 94 years ago, a beautiful Art Deco building, 1930s, and the home currently of the Marks and Spencer's flagship store on Oxford Street, opened in a blaze of glory way back in the 80s with none other than the Right Honourable Margaret Thatcher doing her shopping there. Apparently it was her favourite store. Yes, can understand why back in the day. Now, what's fascinating is that Angela Rayner has given the, full throttle to knock this building down and replace it with this. Now, I've been told that His Majesty the King was following this particular story literally with great abate and wondered exactly how this would come out, because the previous minister, Michael Gove, managed to block it. Since Angela's come in with no literal respect at all for anything British or heritage, seemingly she said, well, that's fine. Now, the business side of it may say, well, we can add more floors, we could do this. But when you look at the beautiful architecture of this building and the fact that it's known to so many people throughout the world, again, another blight on what was a wonderful area, Oxford Street. And when you think of it now, can you name any other buildings that simply remain? Perhaps only Selfridges. All the rest, with their garish vaping shops and American sweet shops all masquerading as other things, literally. The bottom line is, why would you want to come to Oxford Street? The more you bash it around, knock it around, all that sort of stuff, it seemingly is not the tourist trap that it once was. And Angela, literally, has just put another and Angela, as well, has just put another death knell in that particular story. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.